Classes move on to part 3 of investments, equity securities. A good example of an equity security is shares of stock. Let's say we are a BC company and we invested in PLDT shares by paying 100,000 pesos. In exchange, si PLDT mag-i-issue sa atin ng shares. Ang tawag kay ABC, siya si investor or the shareholder. Ang tawag naman kay PLDT, siya si issuer. Okay? Now, si PLDT, ang gagawin niya dun sa 100,000 pesos na na-receive niya from ABC, i-invest niya yan sa different projects. For example, magtatayo siya ng additional cell sites or towers for faster internet connection, mga ganyan. And PLDT expects na mag-generate ng net income yung mga projects na yan. And that net income will be the basis for the dividends to be distributed to the shareholders. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the journal entries. In the books of ABC, magre-record siya ng debit investment in PLDT shares. Credit cash, 100,000 pesos. In the books of PLDT, meron siyang debit cash, credit ordinary shares, 100,000 pesos. So again, yung ordinary shares, next time natin i-discuss yan. Now, the major difference between shares and bonds, sa shares, meron tayong ownership. For example, class, yung total shares ni PLDT, 10,000 shares. Ang binili ni ABC is 1,000 shares. So 1,000 out of 10,000 is 10%. It means ABC owns 10% of PLDT. Okay? Now, unlike sa bonds na may debtor-creditor relationship, dito, ABC is one of the owners of PLDT. Okay, may-ari si ABC. Yun yung main difference nila. Now, the terms of the shares are outlined in the stock certificate. So, kung merong bond indenture for bonds, merong stock certificates for stocks or for shares. Alright? For example, yung par value, mga number of shares, and other details, nandun yan sa stock certificate. Okay? Now, again, in shares, in equity securities, meron tayong ownership. And yung ownership, the percentage, dun magde-depend kung paano yung accounting natin. So mag-focus muna tayo dito sa table na to, class, no? Now, if the ownership is below 20%, which is consistent yan sa example natin kayo na 10%, so if it's below 20%, we are considered as a regular investor. Ang standards na i-apply natin is PFRS 9, which is yung diniscuss natin earlier. Yung classification natin of the shares are either FVPL or FVOCI. And i-measure natin sila at fair value every December 31. Okay? Now, if our ownership is between 20 to 50%, we have a significant influence. Okay? Ang standards na mag-apply dyan, PAS 28, and yung classification yung class is investment in associate. Okay? Pag investment associate, ang method na gagamitin natin is the equity method. Actually, class, yun yung next topic natin. Alright? Next topic natin yan. And what if naman, more than 50% yung ownership natin? Now, meron naman tayong control. Right? So, ang i-apply natin na standards dito is PFRS 3 and 10. Right? And then, yung classification mo dyan, class, is investment in subsidiary. Ang gagamitin nating method here is consolidation. Yung consolidation na yan, sa AFAR natin i-discuss yan under business combination. So, mag-focus muna tayo dito, below 20%. So, again, yan yung alam natin. PFRS 9, FVOCI, or FVPL. Okay? Now, let's go back here. Again, kapag shareholder ka, you're entitled to dividends. Okay? We have different types of dividends. Isa-isahin natin yan. The most common type is cash dividends. From the word itself, cash, syempre, cash yung marireceive natin. Ang computation yan is simply number of shares times dividend per share. Sa illustration natin earlier, bumili tayo ng 1,000 shares sa PLDT. Sabi ni PLDT, sige, magbabayad tayo or mag-distribute tayo ng 10 pesos per share. So 1,000 times 10, that's 10,000 pesos. Yun yung cash dividends natin. Alright? Now, ang nagpapakomplicate sa cash dividends, meron dyang 3 relevant dates. Okay? First is date of declaration. Second date is date of record. And third is date of payment. Isa-isay natin. Pag sinabi mong date of declaration, iyan yung date kung kailan na-approve ng Board of Directors yung declaration of dividends. Okay? So, approval of the Board of Directors, ang tawag dyan, date of declaration. Now, date of record, ito naman class yung date of registration. Very important yung date na yan. Bakit, sir? Sa date of record, kung sino yung naka-record or yung naka-register that day, okay, siya yung makaka-receive ng dividends. Ulitin ko, kung sino yung naka-record or naka-register that day, siya yung makaka-receive ng cash dividends. Alright? And date of payment, obviously, yun yung pagbabayad ng cash dividends. Ha? Now, ito yung nagpapakomplicate. Ano? Pag binili mo yung shares, between date of declaration and date of record, ang tawag dyan, dividend on. Sulat mo muna, dividend on. Pag naman binili mo yung shares, sa example natin kay PLDT, pag binili mo yung PLDT shares between date of record and date of payment, ang tawag mo dyan, ex-dividends. Okay, sir, ano yung relevance yan? Pag dividend on class, tandaan mo, the purchase price includes dividends. Okay, the purchase price includes dividends. Tama? Includes. Bakit, sir? Tingnan mo, ha? Sabi ko kanina, date of declaration, dyan nag-declare ng dividends. Okay, nag-approve ng board of directors. Ngayon, yung date of record, kung sino naka-record dyan, siya yung entitled, siya yung makaka-receive ng dividends. Pag binili mo dito yung shares, okay, dividend on, it means, sa date of registration or date of record, ikaw yung i-register dyan. Tama, pangalan mo yung i-register dyan. So, entitled ka sa dividends. Kaya yung bibili mo na shares dyan, may kasamang dividends yan. Okay, so technically, binibili mo kasama yung dividends. Ngayon, pag dito mo naman siya binili ex-dividends, the purchase price excludes dividends. Bakit, sir, excludes? Because, pag dito mo binili yung shares, hindi ka naka-register. Okay? Ibang tao yung naka-register dyan. Therefore, hindi ka entitled dun sa dividends. That's why, pag sabing ex-dividends, ibig sabihin ng ex, excludes dividends. So, sulat mo muna later, i-apply natin yan sa handouts natin. Okay, next type of dividend is property dividends. For example, si PLDT, wala siya masyadong cash. Pero meron siyang property na pwede niya i-declare as dividends. Ano yung mga common examples? Usually, ang dinideclare na property dividends, PPE or inventory. Ang kailangan mo lang tandaan dyan, class, yung property dividends, measured dyan at fair market value at the date of declaration. Ganun lang yan. So, yung income mo is at fair market value at the date of declaration. By the way, sa cash dividends class, income yan. Okay? Dividend income yan. So, pag nilagyan ko yung check, ibig sabihin, income yan. Okay? Property dividends, income din yan. Okay? How much? Fair market value. Okay? Sige. And then, next type of dividend is liquidating dividends. Liquidating. So, applicable yung class during liquidation. Okay? For example, yung company, si ABC, na bankrupt na. Okay? Diliquidate na siya. Nagkakaroon ng liquidating dividends. So, basically, binabalik na yung investment to the shareholders. Okay? So, meron kang return of capital. Okay? So, yung investment in shares, binabalik mo na yan sa shareholders. Therefore, yung liquidating dividends, hindi yan income. So, ulitin ko, pag check income, pag X, hindi income. So, income yung cash dividends, income yung property dividends, liquidating dividends, since binabalik mo na yung in-invest ng mga shareholders, hindi yan income. Return of capital yan. Okay? And then last one, class, is stock dividends. Stock dividends. Now, stock dividends, ang effect nito, class, is to increase the number of shares. Okay? Increase the number of shares. I'll give you an illustration. For example, bumili tayo ng PLDT shares. Ito yung cost. Lagay ko dyan. Number of shares. Sulat mo muna, class, and then explain ko later. And then ito yung cost per share. Okay? So, bumili tayo ng PLDT shares, let's say 11,000 pesos. And then, number of shares, 1,000. Bumili tayo ng 1,000 shares sa PLDT for 11,000 pesos. So, 11,000, pag i-divide mo yun sa 1,000, ang makukuha mo dyan, class, is 11 pesos per share. Yung cost per share mo. Tama? Ngayon, sabi ni PLDT, sige, mag-declare tayo ng 10% stock dividends or share dividends. Pag na-declare ka ng stock dividends sa 10%, yung shares mo, 1,000, madadagdagan ng 10%. So, may 1,100 yan. So, 1,100. Pero take note, class, yung cost natin, kung magkano natin binili yan, same lang. Alright? So, 11,000, i-divide mo yan by 1,100, ang makukuha mong cost per share is 10 pesos per share. Alright? So, ano yung effect ng 10% stock dividends? Example natin, 10%. Ang effect niyan, yung total, same. Parehong 11,000 pa rin. Yung number of shares, tataas siya. Kaya sabi ko dito, ang effect niya is increase number of shares. Yung cost per share from 11 to 10, bababa naman siya. Gets? Okay. So, stock dividends, hindi yan income. Alright? Kasi, ang effect lang yan, tataas yung number of shares mo. So, hindi yan income. Alright? So, X nilagay ko dyan. Now, merong related concept sa stock dividends. Meron tayong tinatawag na stock split. Stock split. Okay? Pwede yung stock split up or stock split down. Ayan. Now, pag sinabi mong stock split, so basically, for example, 2-for-1 na stock split. 2-for-1. Ang ibig sabihin ng 2-for-1, mag-i-issue ng 2 new shares for every share na meron tayo kay PLDT. Alright? So, para mas malinaw, tignan natin. So, for example, class, may dalawang klase yan. Stock split up, stock split down. So, ulit lang natin ulit yung cost, and then number of shares, and then yung cost per share. Alright? So, originally, bumili tayo kay PLDT ng 11,000, 1,000 pesos for 1,000 shares, yung cost per share natin is 11. Okay? Now, pag sinabing stock split up, okay? For every share natin kay PLDT, may 1,000 tayo, mag-i-issue ng bagong 2 new shares. So, 2 times 1,000, ang magiging shares natin, 2,000. Stock split up yung tawag dyan. Alright? Now, yung cost natin is the same, 11,000. So, 11,000 divided by 2,000, makukuha mo dyan, classes, 5.5. Ano yung effect ng stock split up? Same yung total. Tumaas yung number of shares, bumaba yung cost per share. Okay? Pag stock split down naman, opposite. Okay? So, for every share, okay, magiging divided by 2 naman yan. Alright? So, yung 1,000, i-divide natin by 2, magiging 500 yan. Okay? 11,000, pa rin yung cost natin, divide by 500, ang makukuha mo dito, class, 22. Okay? Pesos per share. Double check natin. 11,000 divide by 500, 22. Ayan. 11,000 divide by 2,000, 5.5. Okay? Ang tawag dyan, stock split up, stock split down. Pag silent yung problem, sinabing stock split up yung ibig sabihin yan. Okay? Stock split, hindi rin yan considered as income. Alright? So, pinakita ko lang. Now, yung stock dividends and stock split usually class, memo entry lang yan. I-describe lang natin kung ilang number of shares yung na-receive natin. For example, sa stock dividends kanina, 1,000 naging 1,1. Describe lang natin sa notes to financial statements. So, naka-receive tayo ng 100 additional shares. Right? So, stock dividends and stock split, hindi yan dividends. Ha? Okay, sinabi ko lang na related concept yan. Yung dividends, yung stock dividends. Ito, hindi yan dividends. Alright? Sige. Okay, so let's apply the concepts by going to our illustrative examples. I think nandun tayo sa illustrative example number 7. Okay. So class, ito lang yung space ko. Dito ko pagkakasyahin ko lang yung solution dyan para makapag-refer tayo dun sa mga sinulat natin earlier. Right? So illustrative example number 7. Tignan natin. Okay. Requirements natin basically provide the journal entries. No? On March 31, 2025, ABC Corporation declared cash dividend of 10 pesos per share to shareholders of record on April 15. The dividends will be distributed on April 30. Okay, so gawa tayo ng timeline. So anong nangyari dito class? Meron tayong March 31, okay? Meron tayong April 15, and then April 30. April 30. Ang tawag natin sa March 31, date of declaration, April 15, date of record, and April 30, date of payment. Ayan, so na-discuss natin dito yan. Tama? Okay. Mastery Company purchased 10,000 ABC Corporation shares for 100 pesos per share on April 9. April 9. Kailan yung April 9? Dito. Okay, dito bumili. Ano tawag natin dyan, class? Dividend on. Okay, so dividend on. Ano nga ba class yung implication kapag dividend on? Ibig sabihin, yung binayad natin, may kasamang dividends. Bakit ulit? Pag bumili ka dito, ikaw yung mariregister dito sa date of record. Therefore, makaka-receive ka ng dividends. Gets ba? Kung bakit including dividends, right? So yeah, so the investment is measured at FVOCI. So ganito class nangyari dyan. Pakita ko sa inyo journal entry. Sa letter A, provide the journal entry to record the purchase and receipt of dividends. Bumili doon ng 10,000 shares for 100 pesos per share. So, 10,000 times 100, tama ba class? 1 million yun, tama? Ngayon, yung 1 million na binayad ni Mastery Company, nandyan yung shares na FVOCI, nandyan yung dividends. Okay? So, how much yung dividends? Nakalagay, punta ka dun sa first sentence, 10 pesos per share, tama? So, 10,000 yung binili times 10, that is 100,000. Therefore, class, 100,000 pesos yung dividends. 1 million, yung total na binayad, including dividends yan. 1 million minus 100, that is 900,000. Okay? Journal entry natin, debit FVOCI. 900,000. Debit dividend receivable. 100,000. Credit cash, 1 million. Okay? So, debit FVOCI, kasi sabi dyan sa problem, sa last sentence, the investment is measured FVOCI. Ulitin ko, pag dividend on, yung binayad mo na 1 million, may kasamang dividends. So, yung dividends sa compute natin, 100,000, 10,000 times 10. 1 million minus 100, yung FVOCI, 900,000 yan. Debit FVOCI, 900. Debit dividend receivable, 100. Credit cash, 1 million. Ito yung entry mo on April, kailan ba binili? April 9. Ayan. And then, marireceive natin siya, kailan? April, receipt of dividends, April 30, tama? Date of payment. Sa April 30, ganito class yung journal entry mo. Debit cash, credit, dividend, receivable. Okay, debit receivable, 100,000. Debit cash, credit, dividend receivable, 100,000. Dinebit mo yung, credit mo yung, ayan, yung debit, dividend receivable dito. Okay, pero ingat ka. Tingnan mo class, walang dividend income sa journal entry natin. Okay, walang income, wala kang nakitang income dyan. Because yung income, mag-re-record yan sa books. Okay, mag-journalize ng income kung sino yung may-ari at the date of declaration. Hindi naman tayo yung may-ari at the date of declaration kasi binili natin yan April 9. Okay? So, ulitin ko, pag dividend on, hiniwalay natin. Pag na-receive mo yung dividends, it's just debit cash, credit, dividend receivable. Walang income. Kasi ang income, kung sino yung may-ari at the date of declaration. Okay, let's go to letter B. Provide the journal entry to record the purchase and receipt of dividends if Mastery purchased the shares on April 26. Dito naman tayo bumili. April 26. Ano tawag natin dyan? Ex-dividends. Pag ex-dividends, excluding dividends. Bakit ulit excluding? Kasi class, kapag dito mo binili, ibig sabihin, hindi ikaw yung may-ari at the date of record. So, ibig sabihin, again, pag date of record, o sino yung naka-record, naka-register dyan, siya yung makaka-receive ng dividends. Hindi ka naman may-ari ng date of record, so hindi ka makaka-receive ng dividends. What is the journal entry? Debit. VOCI, credit cash, 1 million. Ganun lang kasimple. Bakit, sir? Kasi yung purchase price, lahat yan, yung 1 million na binayad mo, para lang siya shares yan. Walang kasamang dividends yan, excluding dividends. Yun yung journal entry natin, noong April 9. Okay? Ngayon, nung April 30, isipin mo mabuti, ano yung journal entry mo dyan? April 30. Pag ex-dividends. No journal entry. Bakit? Hindi naman ikaw yung makaka-receive ng dividends. Sino yung makaka-receive ng dividends? Yung naka-record nung April 15. Hindi naman ikaw may-ari ng time na yan. Kasi binili mo siya April 26. No journal entry on April 30. Okay? Let's go to letter C. Provide a journal entry assuming ABC Corporation distributes inventory as dividends to shareholders. The cost and fair value of the inventory are 50,000 and 70,000 respectively. Property dividends yan. Sabi ko sa property dividends, fair market value. Ganito lang kasimple. Debit inventory, na-resibo na. Credit, dividend income. Okay? Sabi ko dyan, fair market value, 70,000. No? Ganyan lang kasimple. Ayan, that's illustrative example number 7. Let's go to illustrative example number 8. Erase ko na class ha. So again, pagkakasahin ko lang dito yung solution. So ayan. Let's go to illustrative example number 8. This is about liquidating dividends. On April 1, 2025, ABC Company received 120,000 cash dividends, 1/3 of which represents liquidating dividends. So ang total na na-receive natin sa illustrative example number 8, 120,000. Tama? Now, sabi dyan, yung 1/3 liquidating dividends, therefore yung 2/3 cash dividends yan. Tama? Ano yung 2/3 ng 120,000? 120,000 times 2 over 3, 80,000. So 80,000 cash dividends, CD na lang, cash dividends. And then 40,000 liquidating dividends. Alright? So again, pag liquidating dividends, during bankruptcy yan, binabalik mo na kay shareholders. Kumbaga, di ba, pag nag-invest tayo sa isang company, sa shares, debit investment in shares, credit cash, babalik rin na natin yan pag return of capital. So ganito yung entry natin yung class. Debit cash on April 1, 120,000. Credit dividend income for the cash dividends. Walang problema, income yan kasi cash dividends. Sabi ko, di ba? Pag cash dividends, may check. Ibig sabihin, income yan. Kanina yung property dividends, may check din yan, income yan. Pero yung liquidating dividends, credit mo yan sa investment in shares. Na 40,000. Again, binabalik mo na sa shareholders. Tama ba? Ito yung original entry mo, nag-invest ka. Pag liquidating, binabalik mo na yan. Edi, i-reverse mo yan. Credit investment in shares. Yan yung journal entry natin. Pag tinanong sa'yo, how much yung income? Ito lang. Hindi yan income. Investment in shares yan. Okay? Pag liquidating dividends, hindi yan income. Yun lang yung point ng illustrative example na yan. Let's go to illustrative example number 9. Ayan. So, erase ko na to. Let's go to illustrative example number 9. Okay. Tignan natin class. We have 3 questions here. Tignan natin yung mga questions. Number 1, what is the gain on sale using the FIFO approach? Uy, may FIFO din pala dito. Number 2, what is the gain on sale using the average approach? And what total amount should be reported as income from investments using the FIFO approach? Let's read the given. During 2025, Mr. Accounting bought shares of another entity to be held for trading. June 1, 20,000 shares at 100. Sulat natin yan. So ito yung cost natin. Okay? Which is at 100, lagyan natin dito yung number of shares and yung cost per share. Lagyan natin yan. Para ma-monitor natin class. So on June 1, yung cost natin is 2 million in total. Ilan shares yung bilhin natin? 20,000. So yung cost per share natin is 100. Okay? So sinulat ko lang. On December 1, bumili tayo ng worth 3.6 million. Ilang shares yan? 30,000 shares. And then 120 yung cost per share natin. Total nga natin yung class. 2 million plus 3.6, 5.6 million. And then 50,000 shares. O yan. Yan yung nakuha natin. So yan. Now, yan yung 2025. In 2026, transactions for 2026. January 10, received cash dividend at 10 pesos per share. Sulat ko na din dito yan. So 2026, okay, January 10, meron daw tayong na-receive na cash dividend. So how much ang kumputin natin? 50,000 shares times 10, tama ba class? 500,000 yan. Cash dividend, so ibig sabihin, dividend income. Entry mo dyan, debit cash credit dividend income, 500,000. Okay, receive 20,000 share dividend. Uy, share dividend or stock dividends. Sabi ni sir, ang effect ng stock dividends, mag-i-increase yung number of shares. So example natin kanina, 1,000, nag-declare ng 10% stock dividends, naging 1,100. So in this case, 20% stock dividends, ito yung number of shares natin, 50,000, multiply ko yun by 120% or 1.2. Tama ba? So 50,000 times 1.2, that is 60,000. Sabi ni sir, yung cost, kanina 11 pa rin, ibig sabihin 5.6 pa rin yan. 5.6, i-divide natin by 60,000, yung cost per share natin, 93.33. So round up ko na lang to 2 decimal places, 93.33. Okay. So again, may entry ka ba ng January 20? Wala. Memo entry lang yan. Lalagay lang natin, i-describe lang natin, uy, naka-receive kami ng additional 10,000 shares. Kasi from 50, naging 60. Yun lang lalagay mo sa memo entry. December 10, sold 30,000 shares at 125 per share. Yun yung question 1. Sabi sa question 1, what is the gain on sale using the FIFO approach? Compare na natin yung na-receive natin, yung proceeds, and then yung carrying value ng investment natin. Okay, debit cash, yung proceeds natin, how much? 30,000 times 125. 30,000 times 125. 3,750,000. Yun yung proceeds, tama? How much yung carrying amount ng investment natin? Using FIFO approach. Ano ibig sabihin nun, sir? Well, 30,000 yung binenta. Okay? Tingnan natin, saan kinuha yan? Tama ba, class? Nung June 1, meron tayong 20,000. Nung December 1, meron tayong 30,000. Tama? Pero ingat ka. Kasi nagkaroon ng stock dividends. Alright? So, affected yan. Yung 20,000 na yan, because of stock dividends, 20,000 times 1.2, 24,000 na yan. Yung 30,000 na yan, because of stock dividends, 30,000 times 1.2, 36,000 na yan. Okay? Kaya 36 plus 24, yun yung 60,000. Okay? So, ang gagawin ko dyan, class, FIFO, di ba? So, i-monitor ko yan. Yung unang 24,000, galing yan dun sa binili ko noong June 1. Hindi 20,000 gagamitin ko kasi stock dividends na yun. Retroactive yung effect niyan. How much yung cost ng 24,000? 2 million. Tama? 2 million yan, pesos. Ngayon, kulang na lang ako ng 6,000. How much yung cost ng 6,000 na yan? Is it 120 pesos? Answer is no. Bakit? Kapag stock dividends, yung cost per share mo, bumababa. Yan. So, ang bagong cost per share mo dito, ang gagawin ko dyan, class, 3.6 million, i-divide ko by 36,000. Okay? So, makukuha mo dyan 100. 100 na yung gagamitin mo dyan. So, 6,000 times 100, ilan yan? So, tama ba? 6,000 times 100 is 600,000. Tama? Therefore, yung cost natin, 2.6 million. So, yung carrying amount of the investment, 2.6 million. Binenta natin for 3,750. 3,750,000 minus 2.6. Answer mo dyan, class, 1,150,000. Letter A, 1,150,000. Sir, naguluhan ako doon. Oh, nagbenta ng 30,000 shares. Tama? FIFO daw. So, yung una natin binili, yun yung una mo ibebenta. 20,000 yung unang binili. Kaya lang nag-stock dividends. Naging 24,000 yan. 20,000 times 1.2. How much yung cost niyan? Well, actually, class, 2 million kasi lahat yung binenta mo. Pero pwede mong actually i-compute yung bagong cost per share niyan. 2 million, i-divide mo by 24,000. Mako-compute mo dyan is 83.33. Ayan, round off na natin. 83.33, multiply mo yan by 24,000, yun din yung 2 million. Okay? So, ganoon din siya. Now, ang kulang pa 6,000. Saan nanggaling yan? Noong December 1. Pero yung 30,000 mo is now 36,000 because of the stock dividends. Saan mo i-multiply? Ano yung cost per share niyan? Huwag mo i-multiply sa 120. Kasi pag stock dividends, bumababa yung cost per share mo. How much yung bagong cost per share? 3.6 million divided by 36,000, 100. 6,000 times 100, yun yung cost ng 6,000 shares. 2.6 million. Proceeds 3,750, carrying amount, difference is gain, 1,150. Pag visualize mo yan, using journal entry, debit cash, 3,750,000, credit, FBPL ba yan? Okay na. FBPL, 2.6 million, difference nila, meron kang gain on sale, 1,150,000. Question number 2. What is the gain on sale using average? Uy, ito yung total, ito yung shares, i-divide mo lang sila, ito yung gagamitin mong cost per share. Proceeds natin, 3,750,000. Carrying amount is simply yung binenta natin na shares, ilan? 30,000 shares, multiply mo by 93.33 Okay, so 30,000 times 93.33, i-round up natin to 2.8 million. Okay, so 2.8 million. Para sakto. 3,750 minus 3.8 million, 2.8 million, 950,000 gain. Answer mo dyan, class, letter A. Mas madali actually yung average method or yung average approach kasi kinumpute natin yung average, yun lang. Straightforward. Multiply mo kailang ilang shares yung binenta. Unlike dito, 5, monitor mo pa kung saan galing. Alright? So, sagot mo dyan 950, which is letter A. And question number 3, dito ka nalalagay. What total amount should be reported as income using FIFO approach? Well, earlier, na-compute natin yung gain using FIFO na 1,150,000. Pero take note, class, nung January 10, okay, naka-receive tayo ng cash dividends, which is dividend income yan. So, lagay ko dito, cash dividends na 500,000. Therefore, yung total income natin for the year, 1,150 plus 500,000, 1,650,000. Sagot natin dyan, class, letter A for question number 3. Class, another concept related to equity securities is stock rights. Sir, what is a stock right? A stock right is an evidence of the preemptive right of the shareholders. When you say preemptive right, it is the right of the shareholders to subscribe to new shares. So basically, merong priority yung existing shareholders over the new shares. Okay? So para mas ma-visualize yan, balik tayo sa illustration natin. ABC invested 100,000 pesos in PLDT shares. Si PLDT meron siyang 10,000 shares. And then ang binili ni ABC is 1,000 shares. 1,000 over 10,000, ABC owns 10% of PLDT. But let's say si PLDT kailangan pa niya ng additional cash para sa mga projects niya. Mag-i-use siya ng additional 10,000 shares. 10,000 plus 10,000, total shares ng PLDT is 20,000. Ngayon, ang mangyayari sa ownership ni ABC, 1,000 divided by 20,000, magiging 5% na lang. Nada-dilute yung ownership of ABC. To avoid the dilution of the ownership, dyan papasok yung stock right or the preemptive right. The right to subscribe to new shares. So basically, merong right sa ABC na bumili ng shares dun sa yung additional 10,000 shares. Okay? For example, class, ang binili ni ABC is 1,000 shares. Magiging total niyan is 2,000. 2,000 over 20,000, that is 10%. So mariretain ni ABC yung ownership niya because of the stock rights. So again, pag sinabing stock rights, yung new shares, before siya i-offer sa outsiders, i-offer muna siya sa existing shareholders. Okay? Aside from dun sa priority, ang advantage pa ng stock right, yung 10,000 na yan, shares, pag in-offer yan sa public, for example, 10 pesos per share, pero dun sa existing shareholders, kay ABC, i-offer siya na mas mababa. Let's say 8 pesos per share. Okay, so yun pa yung advantage niya. Meron ka ng priority, mas mababa pa yung babayaran mo to acquire the shares. Okay? Ang tawag dito class is the subscription price. Subscription price, basically, yan yung offer sa'yo ni PLDT kung how much yung bibilin yung new shares. Okay? Now, paano naman sir yung accounting side yan? Before that pala, yung stock rights na yan are evidenced by the stock warrants or share warrants. No? So kung meron kang bond indenture for bonds, meron kang stock certificates for shares, meron kang stock warrants or share warrants for stock rights. Okay? Now, sir, what is the accounting for stock rights? Depende. If the stock right has a fair value or without fair value. Okay? Madali lang pag may fair value. Tingnan mo na rin mabuti, class. If it's accounted separately or not accounted separately. Ano ibig sabihin nun, sir? Balik muna tayo dun sa illustration natin. Di ba naalala nyo, ang entry natin kapag bumili si ABC ng PLDT shares, debit investment in PLDT shares, credit cash, 100,000. Tama? Ito yung initial entry pag bumili ka ng shares. Okay? Pag sinabing accounted separately, ibig sabihin, class, yung stock rights, ipe-present natin separately. Tatanggalin natin dito. Ihiwalay natin dyan. Okay? Therefore, ang magiging entry mo dyan, kapag accounted separately, debit stock rights, credit investment in shares. Let's say, ang fair value na given is 5,000. Yan yung entry mo dyan. Pag sinabing accounted separately, dun sa investment in shares, tatanggalin mo dun yung stock rights. Ipe-present mo separately. Kaya nag-credit ka ng investment in shares. So yung 100,000 na yan, class, after this entry, ang mangyayari dyan, yung investment in shares natin, 100 minus 5, 95,000 na lang. Yung stock rights natin, 5,000. Dito siya. Okay? Accounted separately. Present mo separately si stock rights and yung investment in shares. Gets ba yan? So ini-extract natin yung fair value dun sa investment in shares. Ngayon, kapag not accounted separately, hindi mo kailangan ihiwalay si stock rights. Wala kang journal entry. Hayaan mo na lang na yung stock rights nasa loob ng investment in shares. Gets? Okay. Now, dito nagkakaroon ng trick yan. Kapag without fair value. Pag with fair value, madali lang. Straightforward. Pag without fair value, kailangan natin i-estimate yung fair value. Okay? We estimate the fair value using the theoretical or parity value method. Medyo malalim yung term na ginagamit. Theoretical or parity value method. But basically, yan yung gagamitin natin na formula later to estimate the fair value. Now, meron tayong 3 relevant dates pagdating sa stock rights. First is date of declaration. Next is date of record. And third is date of expiration. Uy, parang familiar yan, sir. Parang sa dividends. Declaration, record, and payment. Sa stock rights naman, declaration, record, and expiration. Okay? Now, pag binili mo yung, or pag na-issue yung stock rights between date of declaration and date of record, ang tawag natin dyan, write-on. Pag in-issue yung stock rights between date of record and expiration, ang tawag natin dyan, ex-write. Uy, parang familiar. Parang dividend on and ex-dividends. So, parang ganun lang din. Pag sinabi mong write-on, the purchase price, okay, includes the fair value of the stock right. Para siyang dividend on, includes dividends. Ito naman, includes the stock right. Tandaan mo na yan. Pag ex-right, the purchase price, excludes the stock right. Okay? Excludes yan. Now, pag sabi mong theoretical or parity value, meron tayong formula. Sulat mo muna yung formula. Okay? And then later, i-apply natin. To determine or to estimate the fair value of the stock right kapag write-on, ito yung formula. Market value of the share write-on, sulat mo muna, minus subscription price. Ano ulit yung subscription price? Kung magkano natin babayaran yung new shares. Usually, mas mababa yan. Mababa sa market price. Okay? Minus subscription price over number of rights to purchase one share minus 1. Okay, or sorry, plus 1 pala. Plus 1. Ito yung formula natin to estimate the fair value of the right. Sir, medyo parang nakakalito naman yan. Market value of the share write-on minus subscription price over number of rights to purchase one share. Mamaya, i-apply natin sa handouts yan. Plus 1. Huwag mo kalimutan yung plus 1 yan. And FYI pala, class, usually yung stock rights na yan, 1:1 yan. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin ng 1:1? Pag meron kang 1,000 shares, meron kang 1,000 stock rights. Okay? Ganun siya. Ito yung para sa write-on. Doon naman tayo sa X-right. Pag X-right naman yung given, to estimate the fair value of the right, market value of the share X-right minus the subscription price over number of rights to purchase one share. Uy, parang magkamukha, sir. Ano difference sila? Walang plus 1 dyan. Dito meron. Okay, yun yung difference sa formula. Now, Kung paano na-derive yung formula na yan, huwag na natin isipin yan. Yung mga mathematicians na bahala dyan. Basta i-apply na lang natin. Okay? So ito yung formulas mo to estimate the fair value of the right. Let's try to apply. Let's go to illustrative example number 10. Illustrative example number 10. Okay, so try natin pagkasahin. Illustrative example number 10. Okay. We have two requirements. A, assuming the right is quoted at 125 right on. Pag sabi mo right on, includes the fair value of the stock right. Prepare daw the journal entries. B, assuming the right is quoted at 125 X right. Pag X right, excluding the fair value of the stock right. Prepare the journal entries. Pinnacle Corporation issued rights to subscribe to its share capital. The ownership of 4 shares, entitling the shareholders to subscribe for 1 share at par 100. So, kailangan mo daw ng 4 shares or 4 rights kasi 1:1. Kailangan mo ng 4 rights para makabili ng isang share. Yun yung ibig sabihin yan. How much? 100 pesos. Ang tawag lang sa 100 pesos, subscription price. The investor owned 25,000 shares. Ibig sabihin, meron din siyang 25,000 rights with a total cost of 2.1 million. The share rights are accounted for separately. Pag accounted for separately, represent mo separately yung stock rights. Okay? At fair value. Right? Walang given na fair value. Kailangan natin i-estimate. Paano mo i-estimate? Using the formulas. Okay? Lumuna tayo sa A. What if daw class, assuming the share is quoted at 125 right on, prepare the journal entries to record the receipt of rights and subsequent exercise of the rights. Okay, so first off, yung entry niya, tingin ka dun sa second sentence, the investor owned 25,000 shares, total cost of 2.1 million. Yung entry niya, originally, debit investment in shares, credit cash, 2.1 million. Okay? Now, ihiwalay natin. Tatanggalin natin dyan yung stock rights. Yun yung goal natin. Now, pag right on, which is yung letter A, apply natin yung formula. Market value of the share right on, how much yan? 125. Minus the subscription price based dun sa first sentence, 100 pesos daw, over number of rights to purchase 1 share, nakalagay din sa first sentence, kailangan mo ng 4 shares, 4 plus 1. Okay, makukuha mo dyan class is 125 minus 100 divided by 5, 5 pesos. Plus ano yung 5 na yan? Ito yung fair value of the stock rights. Okay, fair value of the stock rights. Therefore class, yung 125 nakalagay dyan right on, kasama na daw dyan yung fair value of the stock rights. Tama? Includes eh. So sa 125, nandun na yung 5. So ano ibig sabihin mo doon? Yung 125 na yan, okay, yung, again, dalawa yung component yan, yung shares and yung stock right. Yung stock right ang na-compute natin, 5. Therefore, yung market value of the shares, 120. 125 minus 5. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng right on. Yung 125, nandun daw yung fair value ng right. Okay, so ibig sabihin, yung difference nila, yun yung fair value ng shares. Okay, now, yung 2.1 million na yung class, kailangan mong i-allocate yan between the shares and the right. Paano yun, sir? Ganun lang gagawin ko dyan. 2.1 million, okay, 2.1 million, i-allocate ka. Gagawin ko lang, 2.1 million, ito yung shares, ito yung stock rights. Times 120 over, total nila is 125, sige nga, 2.1 million, times 120 over 125, 2,016,000. Nakuha mo yun? Pre-norate ko lang using their fair value. 2.1 million yung total, times 120 over 5, over 25, okay, kasi total yan is 25, 2,016,000. Yung stock rights naman, 2.1 million times 5 over 125, 84,000. Ayun. So ito lang yung gusto kong malaman, yung 84,000. Journal entry at the date of, nakalagay dyan, date of receipt. Okay, date of receipt ng stock rights, debit stock rights, credit investment in shares, 84,000. Yun yung journal entry natin. So, nakapresent siya separately, accounted for separately, at fair value. Ngayon, yung investment in shares mo, 2.1 million, nag-credit ka ng 84, 2,016,000 na lang yan. Which is consistent doon sa computation natin. Gets? Okay. Now, dalawa yan. Receipt and exercise of rights. Pag nag-exercise, pag binili na, obviously, pag binili na, magbabayad ng cash. Okay, magbabayad tayo. Ilan? How much ang babayad natin ng cash? Tama ba, class? Meron tayong 25,000 rights. Okay? Kailangan daw natin ng 4 rights para makabili ng isang share. How much yung kailangan mong bayaran? 100 pesos. Subscription price. 25,000 divided by 4 times 100. Kailangan mong bayaran class is 625,000. Ano yung journal entry natin dyan? Credit cash, obviously. Nagbayad tayo ng 625,000. I-credit mo na yung stock rights kasi in-exercise mo na yun. Dapat wala na yan sa books mo. Credit stock rights, 84,000. Since bumili tayo ng shares, meron tayong debit investment in shares. Add mo lang yan. So, 625 plus 84, 709,000. Okay? Ito yung journal entry natin. Upon exercise, debit investment in shares, 709,000. Credit cash, 625. Credit stock rights, tanggalin mo yung stock rights kasi in-exercise mo na. 84, this is our journal entry. Iyan kapag right on. Ano ulit importance ng right on? Yung 125, including the stock right. Okay? Paano naman, sir, kapag X right? Okay, ganito gagawin ko dyan, class. Kapag X right naman, assuming the share is quoted at 125, X right, 125, okay? Market value of the share X right, yun. Minus subscription price, 100. Over number of rights to purchase one share, which is 4. Wala kang plus 1 dyan. Wala kang plus 1. So 125 minus 100 over 4, 6.25. Okay, yun yung fair value of the stock rights. Yun yung estimate natin. Ngayon class, yung 125 na yan. Alright, X right. Excluding yung 6.25. Okay? So ang mangyayari class, ang gagawin ko dito, since excluding yan, yung 125, yun yung value ng share natin. Tama? Yung stock right mo, ang value niyan is 6.25. Kumbaga, pag tinotal mo yan, 125 plus 6.25, 131.25, pwede mo sabihin na yung 131.25, iyan yung right on. Nakuha niyo ba yan? So, yung 125, sabi yan, X right yan. So, excluding, wala dyan yung 6.25. Okay? Unlike yung kanina na right on, yung 5, nandun na yun sa 125. So, pag inad mo yan, tama ba class? Pag inad mo yung 125 and 6.25, pwede mo sabihin, iyan yung right on. Okay? So, ganun siya. Now, ang goal natin is to allocate yung 2.1 million. So, ganito lang gagawin ko dyan. Parang ganyan lang. 2.1 million, allocate natin yun sa shares and dun sa stock rights. So, gagawin ko dyan, 2.1 million times 125 divided by 131.25, 2 million. Okay nyo yun? Inallocate ko lang. 2.1 million times 6.25 divided by 131.25, you get 100,000. Ayun. Journal entry, at the date of receipt, R na lang. Debit stock rights, credit investment in shares, kasi hiwalay natin separately, 100,000. Okay? At the date of exercise, journal entry natin, meron tayong credit cash, which is, na-compute natin earlier, 625,000. Siyempre, tanggalin mo na yung stock rights. Credit stock rights, 100,000. Debit investment in shares, siyempre, bumili tayo ng shares, 725,000. Okay, so yan yung sagot natin dyan. These are your journal entries. Okay, may makikita ng ibang textbooks, ang ginagawa diretso. Pag nakuha yung value ng stock right, yun agad yung dinedebit nila, hindi nila ina-allocate. Okay, actually, hindi clear sa standards kung ano yung gagawin natin. No? Pero for me, mas tama na i-allocate natin. No? So, i-follow nyo lang yung ginawa natin in class. Now, sir, nalilito ako dito sa dalawang formula. Paano ko matatandaan yan? Ang nakakalito lang naman dyan class, yung may plus 1. Ito may plus 1, ito walang plus 1. Okay, doon ka na naman magkakamali dyan. Kasi pareho naman sila, market value, given sa problem yan, minus subscription price, kung how much yung babayaran per share, and number of rights to purchase. O, ganito lang yung class. Pag right on, di ba? Lagi mo na letter E yan. O, naging 1 na siya, di ba? Yung right on mo, naging right 1. Okay, may plus 1 yan. O, yun ang tanda mo. Pag right on, oy, sabi ni sir, lagyan mo ng E. Okay, so naging 1. O, may plus 1 yan. So, excite, walang ganun. O, dito lang. Right on, lagyan mo E. Ayun, 1. May plus 1 sa baba. Okay, so that's illustrative example number 10. Let's go to main problem number 5. Erase ko na ito, class, ha? Main problem number 5. Ganun lang din gagawin natin. Mas mabilis lang this time. Hindi na tayo ayan, hindi na natin masyadong i-expound. Okay, main problem number 5. Stock rights pa din tayo. Let's read. Okay. Jaswell Company owns 30,000 shares of X acquired on July 1. 1:1 yan. Kung may 30,000 shares ka, meron kang 30,000 rights. At a total cost of 1.1 million. So, ibig sabihin total, investment shares mo, 1.1 million. Okay? Yun yung kailangan natin i-allocate. 1.1 million, alamin natin how much yung shares, how much yung stock rights. The company received 30,000 stock rights kasi nga may 30,000 shares ka, 1:1 from X. Each right entitles the holder to acquire one share at 45 subscription price. The market price of X's share on this date, X right was 50. Okay, and the market price of each right was 5. The company sold its right the same date, 5 less 10,000 commission. Uy, given na yung fair value. With fair value, okay? So, with fair value yan, ibig sabihin, hindi na natin kailangan i-apply yung formula na to. Given eh, ginagamit mo lang yan to estimate. Okay? So, 1.1 million, ang gagawin ko lang dyan, class, kailangan natin i-allocate, di ba? So, nakalagay, the market price of X's share, X right, 50. O, yun yung fair value na share. Fair value naman ng right, 5. Sige nga, so total is 55. Allocate natin, 1.1 million. Times 50 over 55, nakuha ko dito is 1 million. Yung stock right, 1.1 million times 5 over 55, nakuha ko dito class is 100,000. So ito na yung value ng stock right ko, 100,000. Ngayon, pumunta ka dun sa second to the last sentence. The company sold its rights. The same date, 5 per right, less 10,000 commission. So ilang ba yung rights natin? 30,000, tama? 30,000 yung rights, times 5, 150,000 yan. Nabenta. May commission natin. O, 140,000 lang yung net proceeds natin. So, nabenta, debit cash, 140,000, credit stock rights. How much yung fair value ng stock rights? 100,000. Therefore, meron tayong gain on sale, 40,000. Answer natin for number 5, letter D, 40,000. Easy. So, ito lang. Okay. Main problem number 6. Main problem number 6. Last one up for stock right. Angela Company issues rights to subscribe to its stock. The ownership of 4 shares, entitling the shareholders to subscribe for 1 share at 100. X owns 20,000 shares. Total cost of 1,650. The share is quoted rights on. What is the cost of the new investment? Okay. Now, yung 1,650,000, kailangan natin siyang i-allocate between shares and stock rights. Okay, so kailangan natin malaman yung fair value ng mga yan. Din-allocate lang natin. Uy, walang given na fair value. Nakalagay, rights on. Uy, ito yung formula natin. Right? Sige, so compute natin class. Market value of the share right on, 125 minus the subscription price of 100. Number of rights needed based sa first sentence, 4. Uy, right on. Sabi ni sir, lagyan ko ng para 1. Uy, may plus 1 sa baba. Yan. Okay, so 125 minus 100, 25 over 5. 5 na yung fair value of the stock right. Lalagay ko dito yan. Fair value of the stock right, 5. And then the share is quoted right on, 125. So dun sa 125, nandun na yung 5. Well, ibig sabihin, 120 lang yan. Total niya dyan is 125. Allocate natin. 1,650,000 times 120 over 125. This is 1,584,000. Yan yung fair value ng shares. Okay? 1,650,000 times 5 over 125, 66,000. Yun. Value ng stock rights, 66,000. Ano ba yung question? What is the cost of the new investment assuming X exercises all the stock rights? Mag-journal entry tayo. Yung journal entry at the date of exercise, credit cash, compute natin how much yung babayad natin. Well, sabi dyan, kailangan daw natin ng 4 shares. Tama? To subscribe for 1. Meron tayong 20,000 shares na total, or 20,000 stock rights. Kailangan daw natin ng 4 shares each, or 4 rights each. Multiply natin by the subscription price of 100. How much yan? 20,000 divided by 4 times 100. 500,000 yung babayaran natin. 500,000. Credit cash, 500,000. Credit stock rights, syempre, i-recognize mo na yan. Okay? Kasi nagamit mo na, exercise mo na. 66,000. Debit investment in shares, 566,000. Ang tanong sa atin, what is the cost of the new investment? Debit investment in shares, 566. Answer letter D, or dot, 566,000.